Yo, what's going on, guys? I want to make this video because this is something that I've found to be stressful and frustrating with myself and my own previous experience, and it's something that has been very frustrating for a lot of my friends as well. And it's on the topics of dating apps. Something that a good majority of people in their 20s will have some sort of interaction with. Dating in general, it kind of sucks. I mean, it's frustrating. But with these dating apps, I've noticed with myself and other people that people get caught in these traps of getting on the dating apps for a couple weeks at a time, month, 2 months, um, not having success with it, either because they're not having meaningful conversations, they're not actually going on dates, or they're just not finding anybody that they think they're compatible with, and then they delete the apps. A couple more months goes by, and they re-download the apps and go through that same cycle of downloading, deleting, re-downloading, with essentially the same result. And I kind of wanted to give my thoughts on why that is and why I think there's so much frustration around dating apps. Um, and quite frankly, I think people need to get off them and meet people in real life. I think that's you have a better chance of finding a meaningful relationship and compatibility by meeting people in real life, for several different reasons. And I'm not saying that all dating apps across the board are garbage. I think there's a lot of people that have found success on dating apps, but I think there's even more people who struggle with them and are really frustrated with them. And one of the main reasons I see with why there's so much frustration with these dating apps is because I think a lot of people are on them for the wrong reasons. And I think this is just a maturity thing, to be completely honest. I think a lot of people in their early 20s, especially, are on them for validation and to feed their ego a little bit. It's people like um, people like getting complimented. People like feeling wanted. And when you get on these apps, you have random strangers doing just that. They're complimenting you. They're wanting to get to know you. It's a validation boost, and it's like social media. It becomes almost addictive in nature because it's like social media when someone makes a post on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and they get all these likes. That's just a big dopamine rush for the person who posted that picture. So what are they going to do moving forward is probably post more pictures, so because they like that dopamine hit. And these dating apps the same way. You get people complimenting you, commenting, swiping right and matching with you. And a lot of people, whether they know it or not, or are willing to admit it or not, I think are on there simply for that. They're not really on there looking to find someone, looking to form a meaningful connection. They're on there because it's almost a sense of entertainment for them. And um, of course, that varies by dating app. Different dating apps kind of have different priorities, I think. But I think that's a big point of friction, almost a big point of friction between people, because I think there's a lot of misrepresented expectations. I've also noticed that on these dating apps, when you're on them, because there's so many options, you almost develop a sense of paralysis by analysis, which, for anyone who's never heard that term before, what it basically means is that when you have too many options, it's hard to choose, or you can't choose because you always think the option you choose, or hypothetically choose, will not be the best option. So you're just in this state of paralysis and not making any moves or not making any progress. It's like when you log into Netflix and you see this big giant list of movies to watch or documentaries, whatever, and then 30 minutes goes by and you realize you haven't picked anything yet because you're always wanting to find that next best option. Whereas when you switch over to cable television that has 10 different channels to choose from. You can find something to watch within 2 minutes. It's same idea, I think, on these dating apps, is that, there's always that next best option. You may go out on a date with someone, and that person and you may be very compatible, but you find something that, just isn't right with them, or, you kind of nitpick and find something wrong with them. So you let it fizzle out, or you entertain other people on these dating apps without really giving that relationship a chance. And it's kind of a deadly cycle in that sense, too, then. Which, by the way, I think this is something I've struggled with these dating apps is I get very picky, and I almost like look for flaws in people. And I think it's a defense mechanism, like a subconscious defense mechanism. Um, so I don't necessarily commit or pick someone. Um, I'm still working on that, trying to understand my thought patterns and why I do the things I do or think the way I think. But I've noticed that with myself. And if you're on a dating app that has 20 people begging to talk to you, why should you put effort and put forth the time and energy into making a relationship that you're kind of hesitant about work when there could be 20 other people that are hypothetically better for you, waiting to talk and interact with you as well. And I think it's just a matter of, chasing the carrot. You never actually obtain it because you're always looking for the next best option. Yeah, it's just, there's too many options. And I think that's a big problem with just relationships in general, is that, back 20, 30 years ago, if you were interested in someone, um, you had to make a conscious effort to show them that or interact with them in some way. You had to call them up, ask them out on a date. Nowadays, if there's some frustration or some friction in your relationship, all you have to do is just log on one of these dating apps, and you can be messaging 10 different people within 2 hours. And it's almost made it too easy for us. It's making it difficult to form meaningful connections because of that. Everything's becoming more and more surface level and too comfortable. I'm a big believer that comfort is dangerous. While it's easy and it feels good, comfort is what allows men and just people in general, I don't know why I said men, but what allows people in general to sell themselves short and miss out on a lot of potential. Comfort is dangerous, and I can rant about that in another video, but um, I'll save that for another day. One of the last reasons why I think these dating apps are kind of a waste of time, and why I advocate for people just dating in real life, is that it's a huge time waster. Like I said earlier, I get on when I was on dating apps. I think I was on Hinge and Bumble, and I was on Tinder for a little bit, which is just hookup central. It wasn't really my vibe, but when you're on these apps, I would get on these apps after work and spend like an hour to 2 hours every night just like swiping, and it was a huge time waster because I could be using that hour or 2 hours after work of my free time actually doing something I enjoy, working on a side hobby, working on a side business, just doing something more interesting with my life, going to the gym, working out, bettering myself in an area instead of trying to, line up 20 dates for the next couple weeks. Um, and it was a matter of me, instead of becoming that person, instead of focusing on myself and trusting the process of dating and trusting the process and just the momentum of my life, and that if I continue to improve and become better, the right person will enter into my life at the right time. I was kind of operating out of a scarcity mindset, and I was fearful of not finding someone. Therefore, I was trying too hard to find someone, which in return made it harder to find someone. Um, I think now that I'm not on the dating apps, my expectations are a little bit different now too. I kind of just enjoy the process of it and just take things as they come now, as opposed to me trying to force a relationship because I was so thirsty to date almost. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but my advice to anyone would be, get off the dating apps, become someone who is worth dating, become that person that you would want to date, and trust that that right person will come in your life when the time is right. But also be proactive about it. Go out, socialize with people. Go out with friends, meet people. Um, you know, focus on improving your life. Improving your health. Work out, go to the gym. Work on your career, your job, level up in those areas, and things will naturally fall into place. I'm a big believer in that. Don't force anything. That's all I got. Peace.